As it is 1:30 officially, we will get started here. So my name's Veronica, and we have the amazing Pat Jocelyn on the call today, on the webinar today. And we're so excited to, for the very first time, publicly be sharing the FoodRescue.ca app with our partners and potential partners and friends across Canada. So this webinar and the build of the app is funded by Environment Climate Change Canada. And so what we're going to do is talk a little bit about food waste and the impacts on the environment, and then go into the demo of the app. And then we'll leave lots of room at the end for question and answer. So throughout the conversation, if you have any questions, please do put them into the chat. And then at the end, I'll help Pat moderate, and we'll be answering as many questions as we can get to in that time. So with that, Pat, take it away.
Perfect. So I'm going to share my screen and get going. All right, so yeah, fantastic, and hello and thank you again for joining us today. My name is Pat Jocelyn, and I am the Community Success Coordinator for Second Harvest FoodRescue.ca program. As Veronica said, today we're going to talk about food rescue and its importance for climate change, and we will discuss how Second Harvest is modernizing food waste reduction with technology, and they were most excited to walk you through the recently launched FoodRescue.ca app. So first of all, I'd like to bring your attention to the lengthy list of resources that are lost when good food ends up in landfills. So when food is avoidably wasted, then the water, soil, and the nutrients used to grow that food is wasted. The fuel used to run farm equipment and labor of the farm workers is also wasted. The transportation that takes the food from producer to processor to retail, and the energy used to run the refrigerated units to store that product is also wasted. The list continues as we think of everything that goes into the food we eat. We need to reevaluate how we see and value our food. As well as the long list of resources lost when food is avoidably wasted, damaging greenhouse gases are also released when the food breaks down in landfill. The food sector accounts for around 22% of total greenhouse gas emissions, and according to NASA's Goddard Institute for Space Studies, when food waste breaks down, it produces methane gas, which is 25% more potent and traps up to 80 times more heat than carbon dioxide. Just to put those gas emissions produced by food waste into perspective, if food waste were a country, it'd be the third biggest gas emitter in the world, second only to China and the USA, and that is a terrifying reality. It is easy to start to see the exponential consequences associated with food waste. So what's being done to help stop this problem? Well, Second Harvest has been working to tackle the issues associated with food waste since 1985. Second Harvest is Canada's largest food rescue organization and experts in perishable redistribution. Our dual mission is no waste, no hunger, and our commitment is both to the planet, is both to environmental and societal. We are tackling food loss and waste through research, producing the first report of its kind, The Avoidable Crisis of Food Waste, and identifying where food loss and waste happens along the supply chain to provide opportunities to increase food rescue within each sector. Through recovery, last year rescuing over 15 million pounds of food and directly delivering to over 370 partner agencies in Toronto and across Canada. And through technology, developing free logistics tools and support to provide a network to rescue perishable food and distribute to communities across Canada. We have also developed a greenhouse gas calculator to provide data on the positive environmental impacts of rescuing different types of food. The fact is that 58% of all food produced for Canadians is lost or wasted. That's right, we waste more than we consume, over 35.5 million tons, and over 11.2 million tons of that food is completely avoidable. As a result, every year, 56.6 million metric tons of CO2 equivalent emissions are created by food waste in Canada. Once again, to put that into perspective, that's the equivalent of running over 12,300 vehicles for an entire year. This food waste in Canada can happen in many ways. Apples rot under trees due to labor shortages or a low price, making it uneconomical for farmers to harvest. Surplus milk can go into sewers. Thousands of acres of produce are plowed under due to canceled orders. Or fish are caught and tossed back into the water to die if they don't meet the quota. Every year, nearly $3 billion worth of food is avoidably lost at a production level. But food waste doesn't just happen at the production level, it happens across the entire supply chain. At a processing level, 20% of all food is avoidably lost or wasted, with nearly $10 billion worth of food feeding landfills, not people. Common reasons for surplus include overproduction and excess inventories due to a fear of shorting a customer and incurring significant financial penalties, or machinery being operated incorrectly, causing entire batches to go to waste. In distribution, when centers have excess inventory, products are unexpectedly pushed to retail stores, leading to loss at the store level. It can be quite difficult to arrange the rescue of surplus products before it spoils. Avoidable food waste at a retail level is double that of production and distribution, typically consisting of perishable products. We have become accustomed to access only the most perfect of fruit and vegetables, and sometimes customers will sift through bins, bruising the fruit with their touch and only selecting what they deem perfect. Retail food businesses also state liability concerns as one of the main reasons for not donating food. Here's a shot of a not uncommon sight at any food retailer, with surplus food just going right into the bin. And food waste in hotels, restaurants, and institutions is about the same as retail, usually consisting of prepared foods in this case. Food businesses perceive donating food to be an added cost, either financially or in time. They also state liability concerns as one of the main reasons for not donating their food. Once again, a shot of a typical scene at any major restaurant, institution, hotels. It is usually thought too difficult to donate prepared or perishable items approaching their best by dates, or just easier to throw it away. The logistics of organizing the pickup of food or creating a system to donate food thought too labor intensive. This could be due to a lack of infrastructure and or ineffective communications between potential donors and recipient agencies. So why donate when there are thought to be so many challenges associated with the process, besides the obvious environmental benefits? Well, for starters, you can't address an issue if you don't track it. And without measuring, you will never know if there is an opportunity to further reduce or rescue surplus food at your location or operation. Secondly, each province has legislation in place protecting donors and recipient organizations against liability associated with food. That's right, we're all protected by law. And thirdly, rescuing food can increase your profits by reducing your tipping fees, by sending less organics to landfill, increasing employee retention because they are proud to work for an organization with community initiatives. It can also build customer loyalty and engagement in the same way. People want to support community-minded businesses that give back to their neighborhood. So, there has to be an easy way to donate surplus food to feed people, not landfill. And there is FoodRescue.ca. FoodRescue.ca is a free and easy to use online platform that connects food businesses who have surplus food with local charitable organizations. FoodRescue.ca was built and is run by Second Harvest. Its goal is to provide support for the rescue of any size food donation. FoodRescue.ca was launched back in the spring of 2018 in select communities across Ontario. It has since expanded across Canada, with donations consisting from £1 to £100,000, and has created relationships between organizations and food businesses in communities from coast to coast. So how does it work? Well, businesses and nonprofits can register their FoodRescue.ca account anytime for free. Once a business has their account and has food they can't sell but is still good to eat, they post it on FoodRescue.ca, selecting pickup times and dates. We've also developed a Best By consumption timetable that's easily accessible from our website to give confidence to both donors and organizations when dealing with products approaching or past Best By dates. Once these donations are posted, nonprofits are notified about the available food through email or text notifications. The nonprofits then can view the donation that's been posted through these notifications, and if it's still available, can claim that food if they would like to rescue it. Nonprofits pick up the donation from the food business during the stated times, and afterwards, nonprofits are able to confirm the donation, filling in a comment of their experience, rating it, and updating any pounds or metrics that varied from what was posted to what was rescued. FoodRescue.ca impact to date. Since launching, over 2 million meals have been provided, almost $5.5 million worth of food rescued, and over 8.5 million kilograms of greenhouse gases. Emissions have been averted. And now for the good stuff, why we're here today. Most excitingly, we want to introduce the new FoodRescue.ca app. As Veronica mentioned at the beginning, we do want to recognize Environment and Climate Change Canada. This project was made possible by their financial support. All right, at this point, we're going to shift gears. We're going to switch to our online app demo and give you a walkthrough of our new FoodRescue.ca app. All right, so getting started. You can download the app at any time for an Android or iOS at your app store. After downloading and opening your app, you'll come to the login page. At this point, if you already have a FoodRescue.ca account, you can immediately log in by entering your email and password. But in this case, we're going to act as if we don't have an account and want to create one. So at the bottom, do not have an account, we click sign up. To start your registration, you must first select what type of account you would like to create: food donor or rescuing organization. In this demo, we will be creating a donor account. Next, you will need to fill in details about your business or organization and your contact information, including your email. When you're satisfied with what you've entered, please click Continue. You will then enter and confirm your password for your account. You can then accept that you have reviewed the privacy and personal terms of use, and if satisfied, you can finish account setup by clicking on the green bar at the bottom. At this point, an activation link has been sent to your email. Please open the link on your mobile device to complete your registration. After clicking on the link within your email, you'll be directed back to the app and presented with a quick welcome message. Please click on the green bar at the bottom to continue with your registration. On this page, you are asked to identify what type of businesses you are. There is a prescribed list, so please select what type of business best describes your operation. And add. You also have the ability to indicate how many locations you'll be making donations from. Once again, when you're satisfied with what you've entered, you can click Next to continue. On this page, you'll need to enter the address of where donations will be happening. This will be the location that organizations will pick up your donation. Include a name, your address, as well as all the other information. Once you're happy with that, click Next. You can then please indicate the status of your last health inspection. If not inspected, click no and provide the reasons as to why. And with most food businesses, they will be inspected to click yes and enter the date of that inspection. We do require all locations to be inspected within the last 18 months unless local requirements dictate otherwise. Once you've completed this information, please click on the next. All that's left to do is accept the terms and conditions. Please click the 2 boxes on the left and submit. If you wish to review, there is a link here to our terms and conditions. If happy, submit. And congratulations! You are now an active member as a donor with FoodRescue.ca. We vet all rescuing organizations that register for the program and do ask for 7 days to review any applications before activating. At this point, I would like to bring to attention how quick the app has made it to register. After clicking on the activation link sent by your email, you're only 4 steps away to finalizing your registration as a donor and only 5 steps as an organization, as opposed to the 11 steps that it took before. All right. Next, we're going to walk through a food donor account. So once again, as a food business, you have access to your account as soon as you finish your registration and can log in anytime by using the app. You can log in. Anytime you log in, you will be directed to your dashboard. From here, you can easily make a donation and see many statistics associated with your past donations, including the dollar value of the food you have donated, the equivalent meals you're providing, and kilograms of greenhouse gases averted. You can also view donation volumes on your graph, filtering for the past 3, 6, or 12 months. Along the bottom of your screen, you'll see other tabs marked Donations, Activities, and Settings. Let's head into our Donations tab. The Donation tab provides you with information on active donations that you have made, including items you have posted, total weights, pickup schedule you entered, and who has claimed the donation. You can find even more detailed information about your donation by clicking directly on it, showing you independent categories of food and pickup details. You can also easily filter your active donations by their status or pick up and start end dates. Status can include claimed, unclaimed, canceled, all, and once again, selecting start or end dates. You can also make a new donation from the Donations tab, which we will go over next. It is important to bring to your attention that this Donations tab, once again, is active donations. So donations in which the pickup window has not yet closed and that an organization is coming to receive. Next, we will go to your activities page. Your activities page are provided with important records and reminders of upcoming donations, as well as anything that has been canceled. It is a good way to monitor your donations and track use. For example, here we can see that a donation has been claimed, that a rescuer has canceled, that there is an upcoming recurring donation that you have established. It is a fabulous way to just stay on top of everything and make sure it goes as smooth as possible. And finally, we'll head into our settings. Right now, you can select your profile. Within here, you can change your contact information, password, and notifications. Currently, all other options will direct you to our website for the time being. But just to let you know, we are already in phase 2 of app development to offer these features with the next release. Fantastic. All right, next we're going to move into making a donation with the FoodRescue.ca app. So once again, you can easily make a donation by clicking on the Donate Food tab. in your dashboard when you first log in, or in the donations menu. You can then select what kind of donation you would like to make, be it an ad hoc single donation or donation you would make on a recurring basis. For this example, we'll set up a single donation. You can then enter the weight of each category of food you have to donate. Make sure to scroll down as there is a list of them. This will help provide the most accurate greenhouse gas aversion metrics for your account, as the greenhouse gas calculator breaks them down by different categories. Make sure to submit each value in the right column, and when everything looks right, you can click the next on the bottom right-hand corner. You then indicate the food type, be it perishable or shelf-stable. The food temperature, be it stored at room temperature, be it refrigerated or frozen. Additional food details. If any of these apply to your donation, please select for further organization filtration. And new, exciting feature to the app is the ability to upload a picture of the donation. This will give rescuing organizations a clear understanding of the volume and items available. You can simply upload any image from your mobile. And then you get to put in additional details about the items up for donation. When you're happy with what everything looks here, please select Next. You then select the location you plan on donating from. If you only have one location, it will be automatically generated in this spot. You then select it as a single day pickup or a date range, the pickup date or dates, and the pickup time you would like the organization to come and receive your donation. You also have the ability to put in additional pickup details as to who to contact on site or what to bring in order to receive this. When everything looks great, you then get to click on Next. You then have the option to select the reason you are donating, as well as if you would like to target only one organization to notify them of your donation. This is a great feature if you'd like to continue an existing relationship with an organization onto FoodRescue.ca, or if you build a relationship and would like them to receive your donations. If you are making regular donations, then I would direct you back to our function to create a recurring route, which is fabulous to get that one organization picking up on a regular basis. Once you have identified the reason for a donation, and if you would like to target anyone, you get to select Next. You then get to review and edit anything you've submitted. For example, donation items. We can always go back and edit the categories that we would like. Once we've saved it, it'll take us right back to the checkout. Likewise, item details. Get to go back and update if we forgot any additional details, and save, taking us right back to the checkout. We can do the same for pickup details and for those general details. It's a great way to make sure everything's in order before you post it to our system. If everything looks appropriate, we submit. And woohoo! Thank you for supporting your community. At this point, notifications would be sent out to organizations within your pickup radius, and you will be notified when somebody has claimed your donation. Thank you again for supporting your organizations with your food donations in your region. A couple of other features that I wanted to bring our attention to is within the agency account. As mentioned within the agency account, it is set up very similar. You have the ability to see the value of food you've rescued, the equivalent meals that you've rescued and provided to your community, and the kilograms of greenhouse gases you've offset. You also have the ability to filter it by the total volume. Once again, by 3, 6, and 12 months. What I'm most excited to launch is the new Available tab. The new Available tab within the app generates any donations that are still active on the system. If donations are still available, you no longer have to sift through all of the emails you receive to see if they're still available. You will see them right here in this tab. You will see all the information, if it is targeted, if it is recurring, what it is available, the total weight, the time and frequency. And once again, like in the donors donation tab, you can click right in to see the details of specific categories and further instructions about detail pickups, as well as a generic pickup area. Once you claim it, you will be provided with the exact location to receive it. This should hopefully provide more opportunities to organizations that have been unable to claim through notifications, as well as provide another place for donors to, as well as help unclaimed donations make sure they don't slip through the crack. It's also very exciting that, as opposed to our rescues, confirmed that it is all compiled into this one rescues tab. Within my rescues, the agency, like a donor, will see any claimed donations. So this would include donations that have been posted and successfully claimed by the organization. Once again, scrolling through and clicking on each one to provide with more details about that specific pickup. Once donations have been rescued and the pickup window has closed, you'll then have the ability to confirm by clicking on the Confirm tab. This allows you to review the donation you picked up, to confirm, yes, I have received, the ability to adjust any of the volumes of food that had been picked up to provide those most accurate KPIs for both you and the donor, as well as the ability to provide additional feedback, comments on the experience. Our team reviews these on a weekly basis and helps us to identify any issues with pickups, and we love the positive feedback and share it with our team to help get out there to get more donors on board. Once you're happy with everything inputted, you click Submit, and that donation is now confirmed in a way. We only report KPIs on confirmed donations, which is why it is an extremely important part on the agency side to make sure those confirmations are made. This helps generate those metrics on that dashboard to help you and the donor have most up-to-date data of your going-ons with FoodRescue.ca. Once again, activities like a donor provides you with more information on current activities, including upcoming donations, any rescues that have been canceled, any donors that have canceled, and likewise with settings, have the ability to go into your profile to change your contact information, your notification preferences, but any other items will directly take you to our website for now, but with the next release, will all be functional within the app. And that's what we have to say about the FoodRescue.ca app. Extremely excited about a few features that are involved, especially the active available rescues tab. We're always looking to make our distribution as fair and equitable as possible, and this available tab should open up the market a bit more. We're also extremely excited about the donor's ability to add a photo, really helping organizations figure out if they can fit it into the vehicle they have access to, or if it is a good fit for their programs, if it is exactly what is stated there. So that photo is going to be fantastic. And we're just really excited to get people to download this, to use it, and to see what kind of difference it can make in their FoodRescue.ca use. I really thank you for your time. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here and we can look at opening the floor to some questions.
Thank you, Pat. Pat's our, some of you might actually recognize that voice and delivery. That is our voiceover for our food rescue demo videos. So if you've watched any of those, it's the awesome Pat who's done those videos. So a few questions came up while we were chatting, so maybe we can start there, Pat. Let me read the first one, which was from Benita. She says, What do the nonprofits need to have in place, for example, infrastructure, volunteer support, or distribution to be able to rescue food on FoodRescue.ca?
That's a fantastic question. So any charitable or not-for-profit organization is eligible to participate. So first of all, you will need that charitable or not-for-profit number. Within our terms and conditions, we ask that all organizations are health inspected by local health authorities within 18 months, unless local requirements dictate otherwise. So in certain regions and provinces, if a food bank isn't preparing or serving food, then it's not deemed necessary to have a health inspection. And as long as they're following local regulations, can still very well participate. Or within Ontario, if, for example, boarding house with less than 10 beds likewise doesn't require that inspection. But we do take safe food handling very serious, and we do want to make sure that our organizations participating are aware of safe food handling practices. Beyond that, I mean, rescued food comes in all shapes and forms, as I mentioned, from 1 pound to 100,000 pounds. So obviously, to rescue larger donations, having a dock level vehicle or refrigerated unit would be extremely valuable. But other donations can get picked up walking with a small backpack if they're not temperature sensitive, or a small cooler to prepare themselves for those temperature sensitive rescues. So and it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be a simple cooler, an ice pack, and thermometer to make sure that we're keeping those food items at a safe temperature from point A to point B. Beyond that, organizations can have their volunteers pick it up on their behalf, can have the ED go down the road, or whoever from their community make that rescue. There is a receipt provided when you claim a donation. So, you know, having safe food practices in place, being a registered charity, having the means to transport by foot, bike, or vehicle, and yeah, just the passion to get out there
and
and
registered
make new
charity
relationships
or
with businesses in your
not-for-profit.
area.
Just to clarify, so any nonprofit can sign up. If you don't have a health inspection, that's
Yes.
okay. We'll work with you to figure out whether you require one, and you know, it's really open to anybody. The next question we had was from Kelly about, can nonprofits post food for donations? And happy to quickly just let her know that yes, you can sign up to create a donor account where you can actually post food to donate. But we are very excited to say we're working on some features where nonprofits can actually donate within their existing account. So that way you wouldn't have to have that secondary account. And we think that's going to be a really great way to better connect the nonprofit and charitable sector within communities, and help make sharing food really easy between partners. The next question is from Chris. Are there legislations that provide tax benefits for food donors?
Oh, that is a good one. So according to the CRA, tax receipts can be issued for food donations with the charitable organization. They must, in this case, be a charitable organization in which to provide these tax receipts. Of course, it is completely up to every independent charitable organization whether or not they wish to direct those. So in the case of FoodRescue.ca, we don't actually receive the food. You get connected with an organization outside. So by all means, you're more than able to reach out to your partner that's rescued that food to see if they'd be willing to set up that charitable donation or that charitable tax receipt for the fair market value of that product. Once again, it does come down from charity to charity, and there are, you know, more in-depth information if you want to get into the CRA documents.
Yeah, I will just say
processes.
that, you know,
Veronica,
we
do you have
do
anything
differentiate
you'd like to add
between
to that?
rescued food and donated food. So donated food is food that's effectively purchased simply to donate, to give to a charity. In that case, it's completely receivable, and it would be up to the receiving charity whether or not they'd want a receipt, and that is a CRA rule. But in the case of rescued food, which is for the most of the time what we're talking about, the food is not considered to have a fair market value anymore, meaning that the charity typically couldn't receipt anyway. So there isn't actually, through FoodRescue.ca, any receipting practices, but it's completely up to the charity if they'd like to provide a receipt to the donor specifically. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, and the next question is about how are food donors communicated? Are the agencies or charities responsible for transportation, or is there any transportation services they could connect to? So maybe we'll start with the second question first, Pat.
So if there are any transportation that they can connect with. So right, currently on the system, agencies are responsible to go and pick up donations for their agency. We are working on other logistical features that could open up this to help connect those agencies that don't have the capacity to physically go pick it up. So that is something that's in the works. We are working on a third-party logistics part to FoodRescue.ca.
Pat's leading that. It's called Volunteer Connect, and we'll be piloting it in Toronto, Vancouver, and Peterborough, where actually volunteers assist with transportation. So we will have a lot to learn about that. We're keeping the pilot small, but that will, maybe help for those organizations that don't have that transportation capability. And in terms of food donors, so we get the question every day, why the food rescues are getting claimed so quickly. Why is there not more food available, et cetera? And we're very aware, and we're extremely, heartbroken as much as you guys are to get these emails and to know, we're doing everything we can, but there's not always enough food available. But what the situation is, we need to create a culture shift. We need to get businesses to recognize the importance of food recovery and the fact that, they can have access to this free tool to be donating food. And so as a nonprofit and a charity ourselves, we're doing everything we can to communicate out to businesses. We are working with a number of large corporate businesses who have locations across Canada. It's slow and steady with them, but we're very hopeful, and we're really working hard behind the scenes to get some of those partnerships to roll out nationwide so that we can support every community where there's the locations to really be able to access that food. And make sure it's getting to the right folks. So we are working with those corporate donors. We are working with an amazing partner called Navigator, who's on the call, who's helping us build marketing and communications, and connect with donors that way. But it's a culture shift that we need. And when you're out there talking, at your local restaurant or your local retailer, feel free to ask them what they're doing with their food, and feel free to ask them if they've heard of FoodRescue.ca, because it takes a lot of work to get a business to sign up. So the more times that they've heard of it, the more times I think, the more likely it is that we'll be able to get them on board. And it's a slow and steady process, we recognize, but we have a team behind it who's been doing amazing work, and we're really hopeful that we'll keep growing that awareness with our donors.
And we really appreciate the feedback. Please know that it doesn't just go out with an email, that we create cases and we document it, and please keep the feedback coming. Negative just as much as positive. Positive's awesome, but this feedback when it comes to issues like the ability to claim in larger centers is what gives us evidence to make those changes, to approach funders, to improve the system we have, to make it better for everyone. So I really appreciate the feedback. And know that we are constantly working on different features within the back end and the technology to make it as equitable as possible.
I'm going to jump a few questions because there's a really important one here,
really,
and I know we have a lot of nonprofits on the line. The question is, if a charity picks up but doesn't confirm the donation, does the donor or FoodRescue.ca have to chase down this step?
Dun, dun, dun. So we don't have tracking systems or anything like that in place. What we do have is an audit. When an organization needs to confirm a donation, the next time they log into their system, it forces them before they can do anything else. So this is really to make sure those donations do get confirmed, to provide those reporting metrics for the donor as well as the agency. So be sure that if an agency does claim something, that the next time they go to log in, be it to claim another donation or to do whatever, that the first thing they're presented with is that confirmation notification, asking them if they had received it, and then updating those numbers. So that is in place. The instance where potentially confirmations aren't being made is if a recurring donation is posted and that relationship is established between an agency and donor, and they just go constantly to pick it up and never log in. If that's the case, then of course, let us know if your dashboard's not representing what you think it should be, and we'll be sure to identify the issue and connect with that user. Most of the time, they don't even realize that
exactly, and I do think there's a
and
lot of
are very happy
nonprofits on this
to
call.
confirm
So
those
just
events.
want to reiterate the importance of confirmations. Businesses are we're doing everything we can to get those businesses to engage in FoodRescue.ca, but they need to see their metrics. Because that really encourages them to keep donating. So when you're not confirming, or if you're not confirming, those metrics aren't getting back to the business, and then they're less likely to keep donating. And as we all know, we can use more and more food. So we do really appreciate your help as a nonprofit confirming those donations and really staying on top of it. And the simple answer to the question is, yeah, either the business or our team sort of has to go looking to the charity and say, or the nonprofit, and say, hey, we need your help here. The business is looking for these metrics, and that adds a step for us. So we appreciate you being proactive and jumping on those confirmations quickly. Someone asked about, so are donations going to come in through the app rather than email and SMS? The short answer is right now, not yet. We will be building out some in-app notifications, and then we'll be seeing, what's the best model for communicating. We're always hearing everybody's feedback. We're always growing the system and the technology features as best we can. And so we will be sticking with email and SMS right now. You can turn those on and off within your profile at any time. And when we have in-app notifications available, we'll be launching that. And just to be really clear, because we didn't mention this earlier, I don't think, anybody with an existing account can log into the app right away and can use their existing account. You don't need to create a new one. It's seamless transition, so you can log in and out between web and app, no problem. So Ria's just asked, how can we as a nonprofit rescue food? I'm not sure the whole context of the question, but very simple. You just sign up, and then when there's food available, you'll be notified by text or email, depending on your preferences. And then if it's something you're interested in, you can select that specific donation. You'll get a receipt saying, yes, you've claimed it, and then you can go pick up the donation. Okay, so the question from Richard is, with the current email or text notification of new rescues, you have to log in to claim a rescue. With the app, do you need to log in each time to claim the rescue? So the answer is, right now, everything sort of stays the same notification-wise, that you do have to log in. We are working on upgrading some of the website features, so we know that Remember Me button doesn't work on the website. So we'll be fixing that, and then that way, your login will be faster. But we do know that it's kind of quick sometimes, and we are working on lots of technical improvements to fix that for our users, as well, growing our food donor base. And we ask the help of all of our nonprofit partners to give these donors the best experience they can, so that they continue donating, because that is one thing that we have to work really hard on, is you get them donating, and then you have to get them to continue donating through the system.
And I think, the biggest thing about the first release of this app for not-for-profits and charitable organizations is that available tab. It for sure doesn't fix the speed at which available donations are rescued, but does provide you a place that when you log into the app to see if there is anything at that point available. So hopefully we'll
help. The
help
next question here is about
some
third-party transportation companies. So can they fill the transportation gap? So right now, as we said, we're working with the volunteer feature. If you as a nonprofit want to enlist a third-party transportation to pick up that donation, you're more than welcome to. It would be on you as a nonprofit claiming that donation. But right now for us, the third party is going to be those volunteers.
And we have been aware of a few organizations that have made partnerships during this time with transportation organizations, and who want to volunteer their fleet, their truck, their reefer, and it's been you know, it's worked out
And,
fabulously in a lot
you
of
know,
cases. So
Joseph,
definitely something to consider.
Marnie, a bunch of folks here have mentioned that they're really having a hard time claiming rescues, and we're so acutely aware of this. It can almost bring tears to my eyes, knowing, you know, how tough it's been for everyone. And, you know, as a charity, we're working sort of as hard as we possibly can to make this easier. To give you a bit of a background, as we said, we're working very hard to build partnerships with corporate donors. It's, you know, it's not quick to work with head office of the corporates, but, you know, with that hard work and that time commitment, we know that that will pay off, and that we'll have donors across the country coming on, and that will really help support. And then on top of that, we were waiting on some grants, and we did just receive them to improve some of the technology features. So right now there are some limitations to our email and notification systems. We are working on adjusting those with our amazing partners at Redbit, who are the sort of brains behind the whole technology build. And so since we've got that grant, we've been really able to put some time and focus into improving the system that way. And as Pat said, we have that available donations tab. So I just want to say, from all of us at Food Rescue, you know, as the charity that we are, we're continuing to work very hard. We hear your feedback. We get it every day, and we're happy to have it, you know, keep coming in. We always want to hear from you guys. And I'm very, very, very sorry from the bottom of all of our hearts that this has been a bit frustrating. You know, our goal is to get businesses to donate food, but there's just not enough businesses willing to do it right now. But we just keep chugging away and keep working to get more businesses involved. We need to create that culture shift as an entire group. So, you know, for you guys as our agency partners, just as much as us, we love that spirit and momentum of Food Rescue and that interest in getting that food to where it can go. And we're all in this together to really make those improvements and try to get more businesses doing what we all know, you know, should happen. And it just, you know, it's new for a lot of people. It takes a lot of time. But we really appreciate your patience while we're working to make those improvements. And we're really, really excited that we just got a grant that we can help. You know, it won't be perfect, but one little step at a time, one grant at a time, and we'll continue to make those improvements. So I know a lot of feedback from that. Kwame said, or sorry, Gabriel from Winnipeg, I've registered, but there has not been any food available yet. So just to speak to that quickly, we did just launch nationally, but it's early days. So, you know, what we always need is we need nonprofits to sign up so that we can then go to businesses and say, hey, look how many nonprofits in your area need food. That's why we need you to participate. So yes, you might not sign up. I'll admit we probably have people in Ontario who've signed up, and, you know, maybe 6 months can pass before a business is ready to get on board and start donating. But we need those nonprofits in order to start that process. So, you know, while we're very excited to be to have you join us, and we'll hopefully get some business participation as soon as possible in your regions. Is there a super fast email program people are using to claim it so fast? So just one quick note on that is that your email server will sometimes take some time to process your emails. So while some organizations will get the emails fast, some will actually take some time through their own email server before it releases the email to your inbox. So it looks like you open the link and it says it's gone right away. That email may have been out to other organizations, you know, 10 minutes ago or longer. And for us, on our side, we are working on some technical fixes for other pieces. But your inbox is sometimes, you know, can release emails faster or slower. So yes, we hear you guys, and we're sorry that, you know, we don't have all the fixes yet, but we're hopeful that we can get there together. And Pat, Linda said, agencies need to encourage their food contacts to sign up.
Linda's the best. It's true though. You know, we're more than happy to provide you with all the resources, and like Veronica says, we're constantly working with our corporate partners and making new corporate partners to get, you know, large thralls on board. We just, you know, we are a small team spread across the nation trying to make the most impact. So if there is opportunity in your community and you want to reach out or you want to learn more, then contact us. We're more than happy to connect and see if we can help you.
Yeah, and a few notes
make the
here
most of
about
FoodRescue.ca in your
notifications.
community.
Text will come a lot faster than email, so you're welcome to turn your text on there. Someone asked about how you change your notification. Pat, do you want to very quickly walk through that?
Yeah, of course. As soon as you log into your FoodRescue.ca account online, or if you are in your app and you go to settings, there's your profile. So in the app, you can go to settings, go to profile, and then you can change your notification preference. If you're logging on through a browser, then once you log in the top right-hand corner will be your name. You click on that, it'll provide a drop-down menu. You can click on preferences. That'll open up a new window that'll provide you with the same options to select how you would like
Someone
to be
asked if there was a list
donations.
of businesses involved for communities.
Yeah. So with your FoodRescue.ca account, when you log in, there's actually a map. It's a map of all registered members with FoodRescue.ca that have identified that they wish to share their participation. So, it's a really good idea to see what's happening across the country or right in your own little community. That being said, there could be users in your region that just don't wish to be, publicized about that. You can create that account, see that map. We are working on making it available on just the public-facing website.
Absolutely, and we say that represents about 30% of
right
registrations. So what you see on the map, 30% of people say they'd like to be public. Richard asked how you sign up.
It's awesome. So you go right to your favorite app store and you download the FoodRescue.ca app. Once it's open, then you just click sign up on the bottom of the app, and it'll take you through the process. If you missed the earlier of the webinar, then
and
you
Kwame
can
asked who approves the gift
get the
cards.
recording.
So the gift cards are being handled by another department at the Second Harvest team, but I know they are still working through approvals right now, and we'll be in touch with everybody in the near future on that. I think we answered Eve's question about donations coming in through the app rather than email and SMS. They're still coming in as email and SMS. Samantha asked, have you found it difficult to get larger retailers or corporations on board and considering to donate their surplus food?
I think a lot of corporations are very much on board. I mean, we all know the environmental impacts of food waste, and all organizations have, social responsibility, that they want to make sure that their customer base knows that they care and that they're making difference. And a lot of them are making differences. I mean, we're working on corporate levels with stores that sometimes have hundreds of thousands across the nation. So, getting every location registered and using the platform is challenging. Likewise, there are other programs out there that people are participating with, and at the end of the day, we just want to make sure good food gets to where it's needed most. But I think, it always comes down to that local location, whether or not they want to participate, whether or not we have operating procedures in place to help them easily switch whatever system they have in place. It can vary. It varies from end to end, but typically all corporations will listen to you and work with you.
Absolutely,
to ensure
and we do have
they're doing the best
staff members that are working with corporates at the head office level. So as I mentioned, it's slow and steady. It probably takes about 2 years on average to get a corporate at the national level to come on board. But all of that hard work over that time will pay off, and we'll be growing our network of these corporate retailers. And they've been really receptive. They just always want to make sure that they're doing something that's deliberate and safe and good for their business, which we know this is, and we're happy to work with them as they build that out. But it takes quite some time. Okay, so we have a few minutes left. I'll see if I can pull up one or two more questions. Actually, Rob is talking about collaborations, with so many organizations needing, looking for food. I was talking about collaborations with Feed Ontario or Food Banks Canada. So we're very excited to say that, yes, we actually have a national coalition called the Food Rescue Canadian Alliance, and included in it is Food Banks Canada, Salvation Army, our organization Second Harvest, representative from Indigenous communities, Community Food Centers Canada, kind of you name it. So we are working together sort of at all times, growing our partnerships, and we know that there's there's a lot of people looking for support from businesses, and it's of utmost importance to all of us as a group and as a network that we're working together to grow those partnerships, and we're not duplicating efforts, but we're working sort of in alliance and side by side. So we're very excited that we have the alliance, and we'll be continuing. And we've been in conversations with sort of every key organization really since day one of FoodRescue.ca, and long before FoodRescue.ca, before we even had this program. We as an organization have always been doing food rescue, and so as a food rescue organization, the food isn't used by us; it's used by agencies in the community. So we're just the transportation and logistics tools. So we're very excited that we have those partnerships, and we've been able to bring them on board to the program.
There have been cases, quite many cases, after the outbreak of COVID-19, where competing is the complete opposite, where we've actually been working together with other organizations with the same donors to distribute whatever products they have available, and have, like Veronica said, made some wonderful partnerships and working very closely with these other larger groups to make sure that, we're not duplicating your efforts.
So I think
and that
with that, we'll sign off. There were a few more questions there, and we couldn't get to all of them. One was about, is food rescue available in Calgary? Yes, it's available across Canada, and we actually are seeing donations in Calgary. And then we had actually a note from an amazing guest, Keisha. Keisha, I won't name where you're from, but she does work with a large corporation, and wants to recommend approaching your local store about FoodRescue.ca. So let's all take that into account, and thank you, Keisha, for that. So for everybody, apologies we couldn't get to every single question, but that's great because clearly we've had some great discussion. And a big thank you to Pat for being our champion and leader today.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate the questions to fill out the end there. It was fantastic. I think we went over all the the real benefits to the app is getting donors in quickly, to make that post real simply, to be able to upload those pictures so we can really have a better sense of what's being donated, and then that available donation tab by the agency, and having the confirmed our rescues and all that in one place should make things easier. And like Veronica says, we're constantly working on getting notifications right in the app.
Thank you everyone for joining us.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen this summer.
Bye now.
Thanks so much, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Stop broadcast.